Good afternoon and congratulations, distinguished guests, administrators, professors, families, friends, countrymen, Romans, members of the class of 2018. I'm honored and humbled to have the opportunity to speak to you as the recipient of the Distinguished Leadership Award this year. As I thought about what to say, I couldn't help but feel a little nostalgic trying to trace the personal and professional steps in my journey. So as the basis for my remarks, I'd like to share my story with you, and I invite all the members of the class of 2018 to sort of go through your own personal narrative during this time. Think about what brought you to this point, because truly it is a special occasion. Amazingly, 23 years ago, while a student at Princeton University, I met my future wife, Melanie, who is a student here at Rutgers. And while an undergraduate, I always planned on becoming a lawyer because I figured that's what I was supposed to do, despite my academic and volunteering interests always steering me towards education and serving young children. Upon graduation, I took some time off and headed to Mexico to teach English to children and adults in a village in the Yucatan. But eventually I found my way back to the States because the love of my life was calling me. And my purpose and priorities in life started to become clearer. I ended up starting my professional career not in law, but in financial services as a consultant, and soon proposed to Melanie. And my career in finance was short-lived because I soon realized that it wasn't for me. Making a lot of money for people who already had a lot of money wasn't as fulfilling as I would have expected. So I decided that I would go into education, so I checked with Melanie to make sure she was okay marrying a teacher instead of a financial consultant. She was still cool with it. So 20 years ago, I got married. I stepped off the plane for my honeymoon, and I stepped into my first classroom as a bilingual ESL teacher in Paterson, New Jersey. And I never looked back. I never looked back because I knew at that time that I had found my home. I found a place where I knew I was going to make a difference. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I was lucky I knew how to get to my classroom every day, because as an alternate route teacher, you walk in pretty much blind. But nevertheless, I was driven by that constant sense of purpose. And I knew that up to that point, education had always been calling me, and I was resistant, but now I found it was time to embrace it. After beginning my career as a teacher, I progressed through the system as new opportunities presented themselves professionally. But I always knew there's a lot more that I needed to learn and a lot more I needed to do to further my own education. And so began my career here at the Graduate School of Education almost 15 years ago. And as fate would have it, my start at the GSE coincided with the birth of my first child, Alex. So what that means is you could sort of time my time in the GSE with the growth and development of my son. So yes, I am a teenager all over again. Going to grad school and attempting to raise a family still gives me some heart palpitations, and also having two additional children still gets me up at night with cold sweats. But I knew that I now had a new sense of purpose, a new sense of motivation, a new sense of being, and that's what was driving me. The GSE, particular professors Firestone, Lugg, and the many other professors who pushed me, allowed me to become a better educator, a better teacher, and a better leader and scholar, while my family pushed me to persevere and be the best father, husband, and man I could be. It all made sense, and my purpose was never more clear. During that same time, my career path took me from teacher through the administrative ranks to the superintendent of schools, where I gained exposure to schools and school districts that varied in size, performance, socioeconomic status, and level of diversity. And my time in the GSE during those professional transitions in my life granted me the opportunity to directly apply all I learned to a practical and meaningful context. And what that means is I actually used what I learned in class. So you too will do the same. All that stuff in learning about school finance, prepared me for developing budgets in a time when we're not getting any state aid and we have tax levy caps, but I digress. It allows me to continue to employ all my decision analysis thinking in every decision that I make every day. And with my young son being only 8 years old, I know I'm going to be doing this for a while. So I would stop short of saying that I've seen it all, but I could certainly say with confidence that I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of public education, and it hasn't been easy. Just pick up a newspaper, swipe through the headlines, and you'll come across a story that unfortunately tells the public more about what's wrong with education than what's right, and it gets kind of exhausting after a while. So why would anyone do this? No, seriously, why would anyone do this? You know, what were we thinking? I went to Princeton, planned on being a lawyer, and then I come into teaching and realize there's no fame, there's no glory. Why? And then it comes back to me. As I look at my wife, as I look at my children, as I look at every child who walks through every single classroom and every single schoolhouse door, it becomes clear to me. And the truth is that why is going to be different to each and every one of you based upon your story and based upon your narrative. I shared mine today to give you my why. I'm thankful every day that Melanie woke up and still said yes to marrying a teacher instead of a consultant. My children are the greatest source for inspiration and represent the thousands of children for whose education and well-being I am responsible. And as you move forward as teachers, leaders, scholars, and change agents, don't forget your purpose. Don't forget why you chose to take this road in the first place. We certainly know it wasn't for the fame and the glory, so remember your why and let that serve as your anchor to keep you grounded, and also as your compass to guide you through the complexities of education and the world around you. In life and in your career, you're going to be pulled in a variety of different directions in ways that may take you off course. But as long as you never lose sight of your why, you'll always find your way back to your path. I would like to thank the Graduate School of Education for this award and thank all of you for being part of my journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez, for so eloquently explaining why we all are here. This is the Rutgers Graduate School of Education, Advancing Excellence and Equity in Education, Distinguished Leader in Education, presented to Raymond A. Gonzalez, EDD, presented May 14th, 2018. I would now like to ask Drs. Marilyn Gagnon and Kathleen Regan to present the GSE Alumni Association's Student Awards, followed by the Faculty Awards.